How you doing? How you be? Top to the AB, and oh my goodness, I had to roll back. So I rolled back to OBS instead of using BMX because that high CPU was just destroying me. So yeah, it was real bad. It was real bad, and I was like watching the feed, and but at the same time we had like 20 tickets. So I was like, okay, let me go back and at least try to get it going on OBS, because in setting up the new one, I broke the old one, but I didn't have time to fix the old one. So here we go. So now we are back to this one here, and we get to see exactly how it's working. And yeah, my cameras aren't failing me and everything looks to be okay. And yeah, I guess we can just get right back to where we left off here, because it has been a day. Oh my goodness, it has been a day. So back to work here. So when we were looking at a few things here, we stopped off at the Google Chrome taskbar shortcut does not have the right click menu. I don't know if I answered this, but let's go ahead and check. Give me 1 second here. Oh yeah, okay, so what I would say for this is remove everything in temp directory. Just Google how to, as I don't, as it will delete my reply if I was to post a link. And then so basically this guy here, he's having problems with his Google Chrome taskbar. So basically I can show you what he's talking about. I think we can try 10. Oh, I'm sorry, press the wrong button. 10. So on 10, when you right click, so he was trying to right click here, but whenever he right clicked to go in the new and private or whatever, he couldn't do that. So he couldn't right click and then go into new incognito window. So it won't let him right click on his icon. He's already tried to uninstall and reinstall, but he was still getting the problem. So we were like, okay, well, if that's the case and that's what's happening here, then there are a few things that you can do. Starting off, removing everything from your temp directory. So I'm guessing there may be some latent stuff that's there that's causing a problem. Okay, so what I would say for this would be to remove everything from in the temp directory. Just Google how to, as it will delete my reply if I was to post a link. And then 2 would be to try to set the application for Windows 8 if Windows 11 does not work. It's the same settings that he used to set it to admin. So basically in Chrome.exe, he already tried to run it as administrator. So it's the exact same settings. So in that exact same location, you can actually set it to run for Windows 8 instead of Windows 10. Would be to try to set the application for Windows 8 if Windows 11 does not work. And 3, also, what happens if you download a new browser like Firefox, and set it to your taskbar? Does it have the same problem? There we go. So that's how we'll go for this one here. I would just essentially straight up for this one here. Edge, you okay? Okay, I pressed it. I thought I pressed it. I would just set it up so that, you know, you could essentially run it with a different browser and see if it gives you the same thing. So basically install Firefox, add it to the taskbar, right click on Firefox and see if it shows you the private menu, and then kind of go from there. Okay, let's go ahead and go to the next one here, man. We had a lot to do. So yeah, because we had like 4 more groups left. I felt bad just stopping halfway. So even if no one is here to watch me, I'll watch me. So yeah, we'll go ahead and go to the next one here. So this is from Uberboss. Oh, okay, Uberboss player. I think that's what he was going for. Just pick this up, bad boy. Picked up this bad boy. Wow, Anthony, just picked up this bad boy used for $400. Let's take a look. Okay, wow, you cannot talk today. So it is a Radeon 6950. 6800. Okay, so it's a 6800 XT. I mean, that's still pretty sweet to get it for $400. to be fair, I sold my 3070s and my 3070 Tis for like $300 and $350 a piece. Do I feel bad about it? Yes and no. I kind of needed one of them, but I don't really feel bad about it because it was super easy. Because basically, I just put it in a box and shipped it, and then they sent it to PayPal. So I didn't have to meet in person at the time. It was during a time where, you know, it was kind of shaky to meet people in person, you know what I mean? And it was like riots and stuff like that. So I didn't want to risk, you know, exchanging money in public for that many graphics cards. So somebody wanted to buy 4, right? So I didn't want to exchange that kind of money in public. So that's the reason why I did it that way. But did I lose? Oh yeah, absolutely. I probably lost like maybe $300 on the deal. But at the same time, you know, I couldn't really complain. You know, it is what it is. There was just the remainder of my graphics cards. Now I kind of need them because they would have been useful in new builds, but it's okay. I can just use my 3090 or my 6900 XT, so it's not the end of the world. But yeah, that's what ended up happening with mine. Okay, but still, his build is still pretty sweet. That's a pretty sweet deal. Pretty sweet deal, bro. Congrats. A 6800 XT, you know, $400. You know, it does it compare to the 3070 Ti. That's pretty close. That's pretty close. So you know, still pretty good. So congrats to him. Thanks for the info. Nice to hear. Which cooler are you running for the 3700X? Yeah, I can only see this one picture. He only has that one. Oh, I didn't mean to maximize it. Jesus. I didn't mean to maximize it even more. How do I go back? Okay, there we go. All right. But yeah, overall, still pretty nice build. From what I can see, that is. Okay, this is from that idiot dude. I think this is a repeat. Hey, I need some help. So I bought Wreckfest about a year ago, got 3 DLCs and played it. I deinstalled some time ago. When the new stream feature came in, I played it via streaming it for a bit. Now my PS Plus ran out and the game is locking by PS Plus. The game is locked by PS Plus, even though I bought it for 30 euros. I remember this. So this was the guy. So basically what was going on with him is that he was having an issue with his PS5 subscription. So what was happening with his PS5 subscription is that he was running into a problem where the PS5 subscription, so he bought a game, like he straight up bought the game. And then once he bought the game, he ran into a problem with the PS5 Plus subscription turn the game into a free game that you can get on PS5 Plus subscription. Since then, his PS5 Plus lapsed, but he doesn't have his game anymore that he paid for. And in this particular situation, there's not a whole lot we can do about it because this is probably going to end up being some type of an accounting issue. So with this one here, we said, well, if you go to the PlayStation Store and look at your past purchases, does it show it there? If it does, then uninstall the game and reinstall it from your library. More than likely, you downloaded the game from the PS Plus app for the free game instead of your actual library, so it was disabled when you lost your PS Plus subscription. It says I bought it. It says I bought it. I literally still have the email on my phone showing I bought it, but in my console, it tells me to pay 30 euro for it again. Okay, I would just contact PlayStation support team and have them enable it for you. Did you try to uninstall the previous version and reinstall? I did, but I'm not getting any response from PS support. Well, there's not a whole lot. Yeah, sorry about that. Sorry about that, bro. There isn't much more we can do from here. However, what does it show when you go? Make sure I can see that. No, yeah, I can't. What does it show when you go to the PlayStation Store on a computer, not from your PS5? Is the game there? If so, bypass the PS5 store on the console, and download it and set it to download from the Google Chrome browser. It will force the PS5 to download the application, download the game. It will force the PS5 to download the game. And that is how you bypass support. If this doesn't work, then you have to deal with them. Sorry. Then you have to deal with them, LOL. Okay, so let's go over what we're talking about here. So essentially, there's a feature that essentially allows you to go to your PS5, and then once you're on your PS5, what you can do is you can set it to download a game, right? That's how normal people download the game. They click on the game and they download it. However, if you were to go to the store on a website, you can make the PS5 download the game remotely because the PS5 is paired to your actual PS5 account. So in situations like this where you run into problems where you cannot actually get to the support team or get a game that you currently purchased, that game should still show purchased on your actual account. If it does, then go to the website, and once you're on the website, then you can then download the game and force the PS5 to download the game and just bypass the PS4 on the PS5 store on the console altogether. Does that make sense? So basically you can download from the actual website. Like if you go to Google and type in PS5 store, you can actually log in and it will show you all the games that you actually have. Once you have all the games, then you can actually click on one of them and have it download to the PS5 remotely. And it will download that game as if it was just downloading any other sort of game, just from the website alone, not from the actual console. So a lot of different things that you can do here, and that will probably get him going. So, but if that doesn't get him going, that's really his only option. So he's kind of fresh out of luck if that doesn't work. Yeah. Much we do here. However, what does it show when you go to the PS Store on a computer? Yeah. So I think that's pretty good. That's pretty good instruction. I just want to make sure that, because I know it's a little complicated, but there's more than one way to download a game from the PS5. You can download it on the PS5 itself, but you can also go to the store on a website and download it. And not everybody knows that. Everybody just goes to the PS5 and just downloads games. So there's more than one way to download a game on the PS5. So hopefully that'll get him working. But if not, it's gonna be PS5 support 100%. Okay, this is from Stunning Celis. Stunning Celis writes, games crashing. Okay, hello. Sometime last year, I purchased a new PC with a 3070 Ti 5900X, 32 gigs of RAM, and a 750 watt PSU. Despite this, my computer still crashes frequently across all titles. I am unsure why it is doing this, as even my old computer, which had terrible specs, never crashed. I have tried reinstalling graphics drivers and even sent it for repair with zero help. If anyone knows what is this due, if anyone knows if this is due to something with Windows 11 or my computer, please help. I got you, homie. So I said for this, okay, so for this, what error do you see when the game crashes? If you do not have it on hand, you can go to Start Event Viewer Windows Log System, blah, blah, blah. This is our canned reply. So I said, and then they said, hi, sorry for the late response. I ran a game that with the steps given and it came up with the following display driver NVIDIA. So that means this guy is working with an NVIDIA crash. There's not a whole lot way around that. That literally is NVIDIA. Well, and he said he didn't know it was this. I was like, well, it is this guy now. Let's try this. What happens if you install an older driver? You can get older driver from the NVIDIA website. Just download the Otis and test that. Also, after you test the Otis driver available, try to reset the graphics card to see if it makes a difference. Hi, I just tried Googling wow, it's late. I'm sorry, it's late. I just tried going to the earliest driver possible, yet it still crashed. If this was supposed to fix this issue, I'm not too sure what to do now. My next idea is to try Windows 10 and wipe my drives and hope it fixes the problem. Well, we are trying different options to get to a conclusion. Well, we are testing different options to get to a conclusion. We haven't left you. We haven't left ya. We just don't work on weekends or Fridays as it was my birthday. LOL. All right, so for this one here, so he said he tried an earlier driver and he still had the problem. And the problem was the games would crash across all titles. So the 5900X and a 5900X, it does not have integrated graphics. I already checked. I'm unsure why it is doing this, as even my old computer, which had a terrible specs, never crashed. He never mentioned the graphics card. What graphics card is this? What graphics card do you have? You mentioned your old PC. Do you perchance have your old PC's graphics card? If so, swap it. So yeah, so we're going a little bit further on that one, right? So on this one here, we're gonna go a little bit further and be like, okay, well, if you have your older PC's graphics card, then go ahead and swap it, because that's really your next step here. If you've tried a driver and then you tried an earlier driver yet you still have the problem, then go ahead and try a different graphics card. That'll probably be your next best step here. Seems fact he doesn't really want to try the reseat, so we'll go ahead and try a different graphics card to see if it resolves this problem. If he has another graphics card, if not, we'll come up with a better solution. But that's exactly what you would do for the next step. So we'll just do that and see what he says and pick back up with him tomorrow. Okay, group 3, cool. I'm not sure how long this is gonna go. We got all the way to group 7, so we have a little bit. So we'll see how it goes. Alrighty, so group 7, dead GPU. Okay, this is the new one. Today my PC randomly shut off. I opened my case full of dust, unfortunately. I cleaned it out and I tried turning my PC back on, and it was giving me a code of 97. My GPU light is flashing on but staying off after boot. The VGA is red as well. My PC turns on when the GPU is disconnected. Okay, you should remove the power whenever you did all this. And my display port is plugged into the motherboard. What? What? The VGA light is red. Why is your display port plugged into the motherboard? I have an Aorus Z590 master motherboard and a Gigabyte 3080 Ti. I was training a ML model when it died. I was training an ML model? ML model? I heard the VRAM thermal paste on Gigabyte cards are terrible, but I've let the card cool down. Reseated my GPU multiple times. RAM didn't do CPU since it worked by last time, though I did open the latch and reset it. When I plugged the card in and turned the PC on, the GPU gets very hot. Put the card in, okay. And there's no display to my monitor. I reset the BIOS with the button on the back and by shorting the pins. I started an RMA to get the Gigabyte, but wanted to see if there was anything else someone could think of. I need to wait a month for them to send it back. Yeah, so, and that's true. Coming from somebody who just got an RMA from Gigabyte, that's true. So for this one, y'all cannot see. So for this one, I'm not quite sure I followed. Is your display port really going into the motherboard, or is it going into the graphics card? I think you were saying you tried to bypass the GPU by plugging the display directly into the motherboard, which is fine. However, the GPU needs to be unhooked from the motherboard for this test to be valid. Also, it needs to be unhooked from the motherboard. Also, there's another thing. Also, I think you were saying you tried to bypass the GPU by plugging the display directly into the motherboard, which is fine. However, the GPU needs to be unhooked from the motherboard for this test to be valid. Also, test to be valid. Also, Q97. When I plug the card in and turn on the PC, the GPU gets very hot, and there's no display to my monitor. I've reset the BIOS. Well, it sounds like the GPU is on its way out the door, but I was training a ML died. I heard the VRAM thermal paste on Gigabyte cards are terrible. Yeah, my GPU light is flashing. The VGA light is red. My PC turns on when the GPU is disconnected, and my display port is plugged into the motherboard. When the GPU, okay, I think when he says disconnected, I think he actually means unhooked, like he straight up removed it. But we want to just make sure. So that's still a valid question. But whenever he plugs it back in, and there's before I get wait a month, it gets very hot, and there's no display to my monitor. Well, also, Well, if it gets really hot and that's showing you a display, also, I would try to update the BIOS and try a different PCIe lane, just to be safe, just to be sure. Also, what CPU do you have? He didn't even mention like what CPU he had, so I'm not even sure if the bypass and actually hooking it up to the motherboard is actually valid. Because I mean, we're talking about like a 3900X or a 5800X or a 5900X or whatever the 5 series was that I skipped. We're talking about one of those guys. Well, they don't have integrated graphics, you know. Like if he has a Ryzen 7 or something, then that's a little different. But we'll see how that goes. We'll just go ahead and answer it that way and just kind of play it coy and see what he says. So Asakuna, keep us posted, bro. All right, let's go ahead and go to the next one here. Let's make sure this is working. Yeah, this looks pretty good. Okay, so my screen flashes just an edge. Is my GPU failing or is it an edge issue? Oh yeah, we talked about this. So let me go here. Oh no, that's his part picker. That's not his actual issue. Let's look at the parents. That way you can actually see. Oh wow, this is a really long conversation. Okay, maybe we'll just skip it. The all comments. That way we can make sure we get it. Okay. Okay, here's the recording. So he had a whole YouTube recording on this. What? Okay, so that jump is what he's referring to. Let me switch it so everybody can see. So basically, he's literally referring to this jump cut to that. That's what he was referring to. That was the issue that he was showing, but it was kind of hard to follow just from looking at it because it just straight up looks like a jump cut. So if we go back and close that out and we go here. And so we've been going back and forth about this really for a while now. And then he said, I guess it makes sense for an ad blocker to be causing issues, but I don't know, at least it seems that it's not a hardware issue and it's just an issue with this extension. The only other extension UI is the Session Buddy, and it seems like it works fine with that for the most part. I'll have to test this out more though. I gotcha. Well, the hyperlinks that create the videos are being scanned, and the latency is what is more than likely causing the flashes in video. Well, glad you were able to figure it out. All the best, bro. I have a YouTube channel called TheOpenForum where we teach you issues like this. So if you have a problem in the future, you can reach us there. Okay, that makes sense. Is the flashing on specific tabs normal then? I wouldn't say normal. I wouldn't say normal, but in my line of work, shooting, every technical issue under the sun is very common to see issues like this. There we go. Put it that way. we don't have a filter. So like there's no thing that we can't troubleshoot. We can troubleshoot anything. So because of that, we get this issue all the time. So Firefox does seem to mitigate, if not completely fix the issue. So I guess I'm switching to Firefox. LOL. And I'll definitely check out your YouTube channel. I'm sure I'll need more troubleshooting help soon. Thank you. No problem, bro. Keep us posted and have fun with Firefox. I use Firefox. No, I have no disrespect for Firefox. Firefox is pretty good. Then the reason why I use it is because I have different browsers doing different things. Like for example, I may have a Chrome, but it's only set up to do a certain thing. And I may have a Firefox that's only set up for work. Or I may have Internet Explorer and it's only for this. So it really just depends on the situation. So yeah, I'm glad we be able to fix it. That is a win, but I don't have the button for win yet. So we'll eventually add it. But as of right now, we'll just go with this. So make sure, yeah, everything looks good. Okay, cool. Alrighty. So this is from Spiderlex. Spiderlex writes, video game doesn't start as it won't use the right graphics card. I remember this, we were talking about this. So basically this man has a 1660 Ti and he also has a Ryzen 7 4800H. Don't worry about Googling it. There's no point. But basically it's an older PC essentially. And, but it's not really that old because we're talking about 1660 Ti. It's not really that bad. And with a Ryzen 7 4800H, right? And then he said, next, disabling the AMD Radeon was the only thing that lets me get the game to run. The game starts, but is unplayable as it runs at 1 or 2 frames per second. Navigating the menu was extremely slow. The cursor was having a second delay and did that. I did not even attempt playing. I assume the game used the CPU AMD Ryzen 4800H H instead of the GTX 1660 Ti. Next step I would try to do would be disabling the CPU so that the game can only use the 1660 Ti. This is what confused me. We were like, what are you talking about here? Are you talking about from the BIOS? Or are you talking about from device manager? Like, what are you trying to do here? And then he said, but it's disabling the CPU save to do, the right thing to do. I rather try to avoid it, as I would not be able to disable and enable the CPU every time I want to play. What else should I try? Can anyone help in advance? So we were talking back and forth about this, and I said, I assume you mean the NVIDIA control panel, then with actually removing cores on the CPU. Do you have this issue in other games? I'm not actually removing the cores. Instead, I want to disable the CPU via the device manager. I have this issue with no other games. Yeah, don't do that. So typically the CPU graphics gets disabled if an integrated graphics is detected. On the NVIDIA control panel for PhysX, do you have it set to the GPU? Also, since we are on the subject of internal graphics, what happens if you remove the GPU? Does the game start? Yes, I have to set it to GPU. I forgot to mention that I have a laptop, not a PC, so I cannot remove the components. I just disabled them in Task Manager. Ah, okay, that makes more sense. Okay, so he has a laptop with a 1660 Ti. Probably the 1660 Ti probably should have given away. That wasn't even a that wasn't an actual desktop graphics card. I don't know what I was thinking when I said that, but it's okay. So I would try to do disabling the CPU so that game can only use the 1660 Ti. Well, typically in games, in the settings, it will tell you which GPU it's using. But you could disable the Windows, CPU's GPU, the CPU's GPU in device manager, and see if that makes a difference. See if that makes a difference. Yeah, this is okay. This is a fair uninstall. Can I show you this? I probably can't, but we will. We can do it from the Windows 11, right? So let's just switch over, and let's go to Windows 11 here. And on Windows 11, let me open it up. If we go to Device Manager. All right, so what we're referring to is this right here. So display adapters, you see how it has the 3090 here. So basically, whenever you have laptops or you have certain situations where you have multiple graphics cards, so you can have like a 3090 and you might have the integrated graphics of the CPU. Like for example, the Ryzen 7 series, the new one that just came out, has integrated graphics, but it tends to disable itself under this device manager. So, but if we're talking about a laptop, the laptops don't do that. Some do, some don't, depending on how new they are. But what you essentially can do is under display adapters, disable the one that you don't want to use. So in this case here, he doesn't want to use his CPU's GPU. So I think it's like a, I'm not sure what version it is, but basically it's going to be like AMD integrated graphics, whatever. So basically he can just right click on it and then hit disable, and that will disable that particular graphics card, and that should resolve, well, hopefully resolve his issue, but we'll see what happens. But that's essentially what we were talking about. So let's go ahead and hit reply. Alrighty, cool. So Spiderlex, keep us posted, bro. Alrighty, so this is from Mild Salsa Dip. I think my Xbox One has died. Any help would be appreciated. This is a new case. I have this Xbox about 8 years. It sometimes overheats or made some weird noises, but never anything serious. Well, overheat is pretty serious. Last night I tried to install a 2 GB game and it started stuttering a bit, being slow, not responding to me moving the joysticks immediately. I searched up the game on the store, clicked install, went to check my queue, and it wasn't there. I had lots of game updates half installed, so I pressed cancel all downloads to see if that would help. Nothing changed, so I held down the Xbox button and pressed the restart console. However, when I restarted, it stayed on the green Xbox loading screen for a few minutes before going black. Tried turning it on and off with no luck, so turned off and unplugged all connections and left them overnight. This morning was the same. So I tried following how to factory reset the console and it's just doing the same. I wouldn't be super bummed if my console has reached the end of its lifespan, as I have the Series X and keep this one at my girlfriend's to watch YouTube on, but I've had it a long time and I would like to avoid it dying if at all possible. Any help would be appreciated. Even a clearer instruction of how to do a factory reset would be great. Well, I mean, The factory reset is just from the settings. Factory reset. It's a 360, right? I feel like you said it was a 360. Xbox. Okay, Xbox 360. Why do you say 1? Is it a 1S? Factory reset. Xbox One S. This one has pictures, so but we can't actually provide links. You posted that in, where did you post it in? You posted in Xbox 360. We might be able to. So I just follow this one. It's the same, like it doesn't change or anything, but yeah, just follow this one. So I just follow this one. But as for the issue, we'll see if, okay, because I know tech support, the Reddit tech support doesn't allow you to have hyperlinks, but we'll see if Xbox support does. So I'm not going to type a whole lot because they may literally just strike it because I'm typing a hyperlink, but we'll see what happens. But as for the issue, what happens if, okay, how about this? As for the issue, try to see if you can get an air blower and clean out the dust to see if it makes a difference. Also, try a different HDMI cable or TV to see if that helps. This lady was a trip. She was a trip. I cannot stand it. Like my build is what hurt me so much. Is because this lady, the lady in this game or whatever, right? If you cross between, if that bloodline crosses you, you get a debuff, right? So on top of that, you can't really do a whole lot because you are a barbarian, and it puts you in a very hard spot because it's kind of like you can jump to somebody, but it has a really long cooldown. And so you can't just attack from afar. So you got to sit here and just run after her. And it was really, really annoying, and it was driving me crazy. And then they started sending a whole lot of mobs at you, and it forced you out of that spec. So you can't be in a full DPS spec. It forces you into a tank spec if you ever want to beat a boss. That part I did not like, and I said that on the last stream, but I don't know how many people heard it because it was so awkward because of me switching to VMix. But that's essentially what happened, is that these kind of bosses and me getting beat up by her and that other lady made it so that it forced you into a tank build. Now the tank build turned out to be one of the best builds I've ever played as far as a barbarian goes, but at the same time it was still kind of annoying that I had to switch to it. Like, I like the fact that I had different options and skills, but this right here, this next part coming up, killed me every single time. But for her, yeah, we'll do the try different cables, see if it helps. Okay, mild salsa dip, I hope that helps. I like the name. All right, so this one is from Solid Professional 67. Xbox Series X won't interact with home screen of some games. Okay, my Series X won't interact with the home screen of my two newest games, Saint Row and Wolong. It's not a controller issue. The Xbox just won't interact at all with the home screen of the games. I can open the games, but any kind of controller input won't work, and neither will the app. Any advice? Sure. What happens if you plug the Xbox controller directly? Does it work then? Does remote play work? Also, the smaller of the two between the Saints Row and Wolong, go ahead and uninstall it and reinstall it to see if it makes a difference. It also has spread to Apex Legends, but only sometimes. You didn't do a single thing I said. You did nothing. Did you not learn? Sir, I need you to listen to me, okay? Just do as I say and plug it directly into the Xbox. You didn't answer a single one of our questions. What's the point of us helping you if you're not going to even try? Okay, I'm off my rocker. Okay, let me get back to helping them. All right. Woosah. All right. So with this one, I just spread to Xbox, but only sometimes. Okay, but still, let's try to plug in directly to see if it resolves the issue, or try remote play. Either or, I don't care. Remote play, either or is fine. I'm not gonna say that there isn't an either or. I would rather him plug in directly. That's literally the next step of you troubleshooting that. Let me refresh it just to make sure nobody else has replied. or he didn't reply to my reply. I've done this, I've done that. It does nothing, and no plugging in my controller does nothing. Neither does remote play. It also has spread to, okay. Just saw your second. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me cancel this and reply to this. Just saw your second reply. Okay. So do you have another controller? What happens if you pair the faulty controller with your phone? Does those buttons work then? What I'm getting at is that you can actually run remote play from your phone and then use the Xbox as a controller for your phone. So what happens if you pair the faulty controller with your phone? Does the buttons work then? Try Apex Legends. Isn't it free? I'm pretty sure Apex Legends is free. Apex Legends, is it free? Isn't it on phones? Maybe not on phones. Okay. I'm sorry. This is one of those shooters that I don't play. One of the very few. Okay, it was EA, so obviously there's gonna be some price. Ooh, that's pretty. So Xbox Series X will interact with the home screen for some of the games. Okay. Oh, that was literally the next one. Okay. Okay, does the buttons work? Try downloading a game to test to see if those buttons work. What games does the buttons in question work on? Yeah, so it would be good to know what other games are actually working, just because you've actually named 3 games, but you haven't named a single game that is working. So what games are working? Maybe we can establish some type of a correlation between them. So yeah, said Solid Professional 67, keep us posted. Yeah, I'm sorry. When somebody posts twice, I have to open it in 2 different tabs. Otherwise I don't see the original post. So yeah. Okay, PS3 gaming PC. Yo, gotta bring it back. Oh. That is cool, but that looks hot. It looks like it'll be hot, but I mean, hey, it's still pretty sweet. It's probably stronger than the PS3 was when it came out. Hold up. Let's take another look. But that's still pretty sweet though. If we, wow, that's not bad, man. That's not bad. I like the little shroud, which is like it's like he cut out holes of a graphics card shroud and used that instead. It's a thing. It's a thing. Hey, he might actually get that thing to work. So, you know, kudos to him. Because it's kind of SFF, right? You know, it's creative. That's for sure. It's creative, that's for sure. Congrats on the new PC. It's for sure faster than the PS3 was. So it's a win in my book. LOL. I mean, yeah, I mean, it's faster than the regular PS3. So, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, just by looking at its specs, I mean, running a Ryzen 2600, I mean, that's pretty good. Alrighty, let's go ahead and go to the next one here, but still pretty dope build, Mr. Green. Tired Twink, I'm not even sure what that is. 3021 says, would a damped microfiber cloth harm my Xbox Series X? No. Well, it depends on what you're trying to, let me think about that. As long as there is no water. Funny and obscure question. After I finish eating some barbecue chicken. What? Oh no, not the barbecue chicken. Anything but the barbecue chicken. After I ate some barbecue chicken, I was under the assumption that I had properly wiped my hands. I went to turn my Xbox off, and after I absentmindedly wiped my hands on my pants, leaving a residue streak. Okay. My hands were coated in sauce, of course, but I still feel the need to wipe the button down. It's over. I would, as long as there is little to no water, or alcohol, it should be okay. But we're talking sugar, man. We're talking sugar. So if it got in the button, it could be a problem. But yeah, so it's not exactly all alcohol. It's like those little wipes that you use to clean glasses with. That's what you would use it for. But it's essentially the wet wipes. Well, not necessarily wet wipes. The wipes you use to clean glasses with, that's the one you want to use. Yeah, you basically want to use that one because essentially it evaporates really, really quickly because it's meant for glasses, but it also has some cleaning solution to it, but not so much as a wet wipe. If we talk about like a handy wipe, so like if we talk about like a handy wipe, which is used for cleaning off your hands after like barbecue, for example, those guys are very, very soapy. So you typically don't want to run that guy because now you've added water to the mix of sugar, which isn't ideal. So you actually just want to kind of go for one of those ones that you use for your glasses. They're a bit drier and they don't leave any residue. Okay, yeah, that's cool. So Tired Twink, I hope that helps. Alrighty, this is from Arnado. Arnado writes, this is a repeat. Can't play some games on Xbox multiplayer at least. Okay, very recently I have been unable to play games on my Xbox, at least ones with a multiplayer aspect. Firstly, all game installations instantly are stopped, but apps are fine. Secondly, games now try to sync data, but don't actually do it. Take incredibly long as I have to wait to see if it's synced. And finally, for an example, I tried playing Fortnite with friends and I couldn't load into matches as a message popped up saying I had to change my online multiplayer communication playing settings so I could play with other consoles' computers even though my settings wasn't blocked in the first place. We've had this problem before. So with this one here, what happens if you plug your Xbox directly into the router? Does the error go away? Are you able to join the party and play in game? Also, is your Game Pass up to date? My Xbox is plugged into the router. I can join parties fine, but games won't work. I'm not sure exactly what you mean by Xbox Game Pass. Okay, this got into a whole freaking conversation about Xbox Game Pass changing from gold, right? So Xbox Game Pass had a situation where you had to pay for gold in order to have multiplayer gameplay, right? So you had to be online and play with gold. Once they changed and made it so that, you know, you had the ultimate and the whatever the other one is. So once they changed it, I'm not so sure that you need a pass in order to play multiplayer, okay? So this is what we ran into on Thursday. And so we weren't exactly 100% sure. So we were like, okay, well, let's just bypass it because it's not really necessary to fix this issue. So we were like, okay, so your Game Pass subscription should be needed for multiplayer. I only say this because gold was removed, but not 100% on this. Also, could you go to settings, general network settings, and run tests of the multiplayer connection as well as network speed and statistics and let us know the results. Thanks for the help. I tried restarting my Xbox last night and it suddenly worked. No idea what had happened, but at least it's sorted now. You know what? This is the second time we've gotten blown up by a restart. I feel like if they were willing to post on Reddit, then they should know to restart. Like they've already restarted. Like if you go out of your way to post on Reddit, then more than likely you've done a restart. But this is the second time we've been blown up by a restart. So I think in the future, we may have to go ahead and ask about restarts. It's just that, you know, because we'll hit tech support, right? And then we'll hit networking and then we'll hit gaming. Well, if you ask that question and tell them to restart for tech support and networking, they'll look at you like you're crazy. You see what I'm saying? But if you put it for gaming or PS5 and Switch and Xbox, then it's not necessarily so far-fetched. So it may be one of those situations where we need to really look into how we troubleshoot gaming issues and maybe take it down a notch, because getting blown up by something like a reboot is disgraceful for me, not him, for me, because we're better than that, right? We do this for a living. He does it, well, not necessarily well, I do it for a living, but I'm not getting paid as of right now, but we do, this is what we do, right? We do this, you know, every Monday through Thursday. This is what we do. So for us to be blown up by a reboot is silly. So we should know if we're talking about Xbox or any type of console in the future, we'll just go ahead and add reboot just to make it easier. That way we don't run into this problem in the future. Okay. Are you broken, stream chat? Okay, I don't think it is. I think it just hates me. Hold on, let me Let me fix my stream chat. It was good, but it was just doing the mostest. Okay, there we go. And close that and disable. Okay, there we go. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and go to the next one. Go ahead and go to the next one. Apparently I moved a little bit too far. Gotcha. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me switch to something y'all can see. Gotcha. Glad it helped, bro. All right, so that is an assist trophy. We'll take it. We'll call it an assist trophy. It's not a true L. It's like you know better kind of L. Yeah, on these consoles, we'll just start putting reboots on it. That's the best way to handle it, because if not, you know, we'll think that they've already rebooted and we'll get blown up again in the future. So we'll just do it that way. None of my controllers will connect. So this is from the Alchemic Bird. I have 4 controllers on my Xbox One console. I use each one regularly as of last night while a game was installed, and none of them were working. All day yesterday, I was able to play just fine, but as I installed a game, Mortal Shell, they all stopped working. I remember this. So basically, he was having issues with the controllers and they wouldn't connect, and he was talking about the problem with Mortal Shell, and he was thinking that the issue was caused by the game. What's most odd is that I was able to turn the console on using my controller, but from there, it hasn't worked at all. So a few things. Xbox controllers pair to cell phones. Pair one of your controllers to your cell phone, then download an app like Call of Duty Mobile and Fortnite to see if the controller works. If it does, pair it back with the Xbox to see if the issue is resolved. Secondly, what happens if you uninstall Mortal Shell? Does the issue persist? I tried doing that after you told me I had to plug my controller into my cell phone, and it didn't work when I tried to play. Ooh. Afterwards, I tried to connect it to my console again, and it still didn't work. I uninstalled Mortal Shell, and the issue persisted. Can't do crap without having to sit 2 feet away from the console. So it works when you're closer. Is that correct? How many controllers are we talking about? Controllers, let me scroll down so y'all can see. Controllers, no, there we go. Controllers are we talking about? Probably should say we reboot here. How many controllers are we talking about? So it worked when you were closer to what about if the controller is, I had to plug my controller into my cell phone. Plug it? Okay, what about if the controller is plugged in directly to the Xbox? Does that resolve the issue? So yeah, plug it in directly to the Xbox, like plug it in with the actual cable to the Xbox and see if it makes a difference. As well as, how many controllers are we talking about? Are we talking about multiple controllers or what? Yeah, I didn't think Mortal Shell had anything to do with it. We troubleshot Mortal Shell when it came out, and we didn't run into anybody who was talking about controllers. So yeah, I don't think that that's going to be your problem anyway. But yeah, Alchemic Bird, keep us posted, bro. I just think you may have a bump controller. Or, you know, it could be the worst, which is Bluetooth on your Xbox not working properly. But let's prove that it is the controller instead of disproving why it's the Xbox. Okay, so this is a person who has no vowels in his username. Give me something to drink. Okay. Okay, a person who has no vowels in his username says, Xbox One control won't work wired anymore, even with other cables. That's in the shot, and that's annoying me. Can't have things in the shot. I used my Xbox One controller with a USB cable connected to my PC just fine for about 2 years. Then all of a sudden, it was no longer able to make a connection. I plug it into the USB port and it would rumble and the light would go on for a second and then instantly lose connection. Of course, I figured perhaps the cable gave out, so I ordered more cables. No such luck. I've tried 6 different USB cables that were new, and it still cannot make a connection when plugged in. I used my Xbox One controller with a USB cable connected to my PC just fine for about 2 years. Then all of a sudden it was no longer able to make a connection. And it would rumble. Well, I had a problem with my Xbox Elite controllers. Both of them, Xbox Elite controllers, both of them, like literally Series 1 and Series 2, both had these problems. And the problem was the Bluetooth connectivity would lose connection. So like, let's say you were using it to play COD, and basically you were just playing and everything was hunky-dory. Well, all of a sudden your character will just move forward and you can't press anything on your controller, because whenever you lose connectivity to the computer or whatever, when you're playing on the Xbox controller, it will actually freeze your character and you can't do anything. And so you go for like 5-10 seconds, obviously you're dead, because I mean, you die in like 2 seconds when it comes to Call of Duty. But yeah, that's exactly what happens. Like, it would freeze your controller because it will lose connectivity. It also had this problem in like Genshin Impact and games like that. Typically you notice in games that require you to make the change from keyboard to controller. That's when you run into that problem, because as soon as you make it to keyboard to controller, that means you can no longer use that keyboard, and that's when it has the problem. Once it has to have 100% connectivity, and if it loses it, it becomes a problem. So with this one here, well, I had a problem with my Xbox Elite controllers, and I purchased Xbox Elite controllers, Bluetooth connectivity failing at times. So I purchased the Xbox Wi-Fi dongle. However, it costs the same as a new controller, so probably not worth it. How many controllers do you have? Is this the only one? The only one with this issue? Does Bluetooth work? Okay. So we'll go with that. So technically, because he lost his connectivity with a wire controller, that doesn't necessarily mean Bluetooth doesn't work. So I would at least try it. Maybe he has a better controller than I did, or all of my controllers, seeing if I had to switch to the dongle. But the dongle's still pretty sweet, because you can pair more than one Xbox controller. You can pair like up to like 100, like it's a lot. So there's that. Alrighty, so Mr. Noval, I hope that helps. Okay, Base God Panda Boy Rock, and he says, my grandma's basement isn't too bad. Thanks to everyone who helped answer my questions. I'm finally done with my first build. Too bad, bro. That is an amazing build. If you don't put a camera behind your keyboard so you can stream and make yourself some money, I don't know what to tell you, because this is an excellent build. This is an excellent loadout. It looks amazing. Like, bro, bro, if you don't put a camera in front, or I'm sorry, a camera behind that monitor and start streaming, I will personally come to your house, I will personally come to your house, say hi to your grandmother, go downstairs and scold you myself. I'm sorry, but at that point, bro, it's time. Like, it's like, I used to struggle with this, right? Like, when it comes to making video content, right? When is it your time? So like, so me personally, I'm a student of the game. So like, I would study videos, training, tech, all this kind of stuff. I would hoard studying. So I would just watch video after video after video after video, and I would learn all this content and all this technology and how to use it, how to set it up, things of that nature. But I never got to the point where I would actually apply it. I would just learn. I was a habitual student, and I couldn't do anything about it. It was just something that I always did, and it was driving me crazy, right? So I decided to take the leap and start making more content, but I was inconsistent, because as soon as I started studying to get better at something, I was gone. I didn't want to make any more videos. I actually enjoy studying more than I like making videos for some strange reason. But that's the way I always acted, and he's kind of going down that route where his setup is so beautiful. You can tell that he has art in it. So if that's the case, show it to somebody. Do something with it and turn it into something that's positive, because the difference between negative and positivity, or the difference between an addiction and an obsession, is perspective. That's the only difference. So if you have something that is negative and people look at it as negative, living in your grandmother's basement, whatever. I know us people, like us tech people, we don't see that as negative. But if you have that kind of a situation, and you see that as a negative situation, I mean, you personally, because that's all that matters, right? If you see that as a negative perspective about yourself, then turn it into something positive. Put a camera back there and start talking about your setup, and start talking about gaming and how to set up this kind of a build. And you know, there are things that you can do that you know that you have a skill set from. I can just see it in your background. You have the art for it. So it's in your best interest to go ahead and turn that into something profitable, something that you can make money off of, because that is literally the best way to go about it if you're going to put that much work into it. So, you know, I think it needs to be said. And this is the kind of thing, like, you hate to see people waste talent like that. And I wasted talent like that, and I just don't like to see somebody else go down that same path. So yeah. Yes, I will totally scold you, bro. You gotta put a camera back there. The fact that you have no camera there hurts my soul. My soul is telling me to help. Okay. So base god panda boy, I hope that helps, man. Alrighty, adaptive perfection. Mac issue. Oh, I remember this. We were talking about this earlier. This was the whole Mac situation with the Mac pasty, whatever. So we actually ran this. Oops, sorry. I had to redo it. Let me minimize this so everybody can see. We were talking about this, and it was like, I think it's called Pasty or something. Yeah, Paste. So we were talking about this application Paste, right? Oh, sorry, clicking on it on the on Twitch, but it came with a free trial. So that's what we were talking about. So basically, it requires you have to buy something. So we were talking about that situation, right? And that's where we left off with him. So let's go back to here, and so we downloaded Paste to test on our Mac Mini to recreate your issue. What happens if you uninstall the application and then reinstall? Paid. I'll try to uninstall and reinstall tomorrow. Thanks for the response. Oh, okay. So that was 4 days ago, but I think we actually replied again, didn't we? Oh no, he did not. Okay. Keep us posted. Yeah, try to uninstall and reinstall, because he's already tried to upgrade to 13.2.1. So if he's already tried to go to 13.2.1, which is the most up-to-date version for the Mac, then there's not a whole lot more we can do here. He already has the permissions to allow this to happen, but we'll stick with this guy because this is something that we can actually download. This guy here, the other one he's talking about, Massey or whatever, we would have to go online and download it, and I don't really want to do that. So I'd rather just try it with the Paste. And then, yeah, just have him keep us posted. Alrighty, so we'll just come back to adaptive perfection probably tomorrow. He'll probably reply tonight or tomorrow. This is from Lawrence Stroll. This is new? No, it's not new. So my controller is making this noise when vibrating. Is it okay? It's much quieter than in the video, but it's not ignorable. So yeah, we looked at this, and let me mute the music so y'all can hear. So basically, I'm not even sure if y'all heard that. You probably didn't. No, you didn't. Okay, well, here, let me try it this way. With the game audio, you should be able to hear it. Okay, try one more time. No, it literally is not showing anything. Okay, so it's not just me. Basically, I think it was like vibration. So here, let me turn the music back on. Okay, there we go. So, ooh, I was just watching the game. I was like, oh, that's yeah. Once you start going tank, it becomes way easier to play Diablo. As soon as I went tank, like I could just pull mobs. Like it felt right. It felt so much better than what I was running previously. What I was running previously was all melee and all DPS, because I was like, you can't hit me if you're dead. But that apparently is not true. Apparently they can still hit you. But yeah, he was actually talking about the vibration of his controller. So I said, so that sounds like the rumbling feature is going out. Should be fine. Does it only happen when the controller is vibrating? Yeah, it does. You're fine. Then you're probably fine. Probably fine for now. I wouldn't worry about it too much. So basically it was making a rumbling noise. I heard it, but for some reason the game audio isn't on Edge, so I'll be sure to add it, but that's neither here nor there. Well, actually, you know what? I can probably just add it from right here. Game audio. Yep, it's not there. It's there now. All right, so let's go ahead and I'm sorry, I'm still getting everything back to OBS until I figure out why vMix hates me. But this is the last group, so we'll finish up with this group here, and we'll finish up for the day. All right, so this is from TextMix. It's a missed opportunity that Sony didn't sell official controller trims. Yo, that trim is fire, y'all. Hold on. Y'all got to see this. Look at this trim. Tell me if that's not the cutest thing ever. With white with the pink. Yo, that trim is fire. I don't like that rose gold. Rose gold is fire. I threw money at the screen and nothing happened. yeah, that rose gold is clean, bro. That is clean. That's some like Goku Black type clean. Like, that's clean. I like it. I like it a whole lot. Yeah, they definitely missed an opportunity, because that right there, that decal is nice. That is so nice. That's some pretty good quality third-party ones out there. Yeah, that's nice. I gotta say, that is clean. I would actually have preferred this controller as opposed to this white with the black decal, like this right here. Like, I would rather have that pink, and I don't know why. It's just, it looks better. It looks like it's a better built color. Like for example, it just looks different. So, like Sakura blossoms or something. So this is from Cosmic Owl. Cosmic Owl was talking about media captures in factory reset. Can I upload my media capture to the cloud on my PS5, or would I need a USB stick? I'm going to factory reset my PS5 tomorrow afternoon because my captures won't upload to the app or Twitter, and I've been having this issue for months, despite having tried other methods that have worked before. Twitter, I only saw Twitch or YouTube, but typically if you are having issues loading captures, basically on this one here, we went to the PS5, and this is why we got this information from. So when we were on the PS5, we actually went there. Oh, my neck. So we actually went to the captures, right? And here, when we went to broadcast, or I'm sorry, not broadcast. Oh yeah, that's right. We had to go into a game. So we went to like Ghost of Tsushima or something like that. And we only went there just so we can go here and then click on broadcast. And whenever we went here, we only saw Twitch and YouTube. We didn't see Twitter. So I wasn't exactly sure what he was referring to on that one. So yes, the PS5 is plugged into the router. Whenever I try to upload a photo to Twitter or to a friend, I never get a notification that the photo has been uploaded or sent. I even have the PlayStation app linked to my console. Twitter. Can you show a picture? Well, does it report an error? Oops, sorry. Does it report? Yeah, I can't see that. I gotta get used to that. Does it report an error? So does it report an error when trying to use, when trying to upload an image? The PS5 is plugged to the router. Whenever I try to upload a photo to Twitter or to a friend, I never get a notification the photo has been uploaded or sent. I even have the PlayStation app link. Do they receive it? Can I upload my media capture to the cloud so the PS5, or I would need a USB stick? I'm going to do a factory reset on my PS5 tomorrow afternoon because my captures won't upload to the app or Twitter. Does it report an error when trying to upload an image? He said he's going to try it tomorrow. Does it report an error when trying to upload an image? You can move your files to an external drive in the interim for the reset of the console. Yeah, so this is kind of an interesting one. We kind of really want to know what it says, like if it's generating some type of an error, or if it's saying something when he's trying. I'm not exactly sure what he's talking about, because he says media, which makes me think that he's talking about a video, but he says Twitter, which makes me think he's talking about a photo. Not that Twitter doesn't have media, it's just that most people don't upload to Twitter for media. Does that make sense? So I just want to make sure that's what he's referring to before we move ahead. Okay, this is Disciple 144. This is another repeat. Graphics card not detected. I have a Strix 4090 and it doesn't show up in the display adapters settings in device manager. I think it's showing up as unknown device. What do I do about this? This is the worst thing that can happen to anyone humanly possible ever. Okay, let's talk about it. Okay, so Okay, if your display adapter shows up as display adapter in Windows, you're gonna have a bad time, especially if we're talking about a 4090, because that typically means that it's having some issues with either driver or the hardware, in other words, the card may be having problems. You can also say that it could be a motherboard or BIOS issue, which is a possibility, but we're talking about a very, very, very low possibility. More than likely, whenever you run into these type of situations here, what you want to do is that you want to basically try to reinstall the driver to see if it makes a difference. So basically completely uninstall. We're talking about using DDU, display driver uninstaller, to uninstall it from from safe mode, uninstall it, and then reinstall the most up-to-date driver to see if that makes a difference. There's no point in going to older drivers because the 4090 is barely new. So but at the same time, it also means that it's under warranty. So he's in a pretty good spot. So if he's unable to get this going, he can go ahead and RMA it. So with this one here, so for this one, did you perchance swap out the 12-pin GPU breakout cable with another one? I ran into this too. So this is the reason why I know it. Typically 4090s tend to struggle when they are not using the 12-pin VPHR cable that came with the box unless it's a perfect match. This is true. If you swap it to, like, for example, the Gigabyte RTX 4090 uses 4 breakouts to 4 8-pins. Now, does it actually utilize 150, 300, 456? No. You can, like for example, I used to have it going into ITX builds, and essentially it would be 300 and 300, or 150 and 150, because it never really went over 300. So basically it would just be going into two of like the 8 pins actually break into 2, but it's only going into 1 cable. So basically I would use my 2 to plug into that 4, and it worked just fine. But at the same time, if you have it switched, if you switch it to a 12 pin to a 2 8-pin, and it usually is a 4 8-pin, it can be a problem. Updated the BIOS to the latest version, and was the first thing I did when I booted into it, which I had to do on my CPU's integrated graphics 13900K. Okay, move the card to the PCIe slot before the first one. No dice. Ooh, I'm using the 12 power cable that came with my Asus power supply. What? Power supply is like the Corsair VPH power cable, but I was trying to use the 12 VPH power adapter with 4 individual PCIe cables. I did make extra sure that the connector was seated successfully. Well, lucky for you, the 4090 is still in warranty. I also tried using the 12 VPH with the 4 individual PCIe cables, and I did make extra sure that the connector was fully succeeded. Well, lucky for you, the 4090 is still in warranty. Yeah, this is a wipe. It's better to call this a wipe. It's better to call this one a wipe and proceed with the RMA, then spend the rest of your days working with it. However, I would say to try to uninstall the NVIDIA driver using DDU in safe mode, then reinstall the most up-to-date driver. So that's all he has left. So with this one here, whenever we're talking about this issue, right, he doesn't have a whole lot of options. So he's already tried a different 12-volt VPHR power connector. So basically there is this. So basically it's, well, okay, this is an 8-pin, but essentially the 12 pin, which is just a little bit bigger, it breaks out into 2. They have those, and they have one that breaks out into 4. So in his particular situation, he tried the one that breaks off into, there we go. He's tried the one that breaks off into 2 like this, and he's also tried the one that breaks off into 4, and he still has the exact same problem. He also tried to reseat his graphics card, and he still has the problem. And he also tried to update his BIOS, and he still has the problem. The only thing that's left here is to try to use display driver uninstaller to uninstall the drive, and then come back from that and see if that fixes the issue. So, you know, if that doesn't work, then it's over anyway. So there's not a whole lot more he can do here. So we'll just let him know with that, and we'll just call it a day, because we can't, there's no point in going any further. He's already done everything. That's the only step that's left, is trying the display driver uninstall, and then reinstalling the graphics. After that, it's over. Sorry about that, bro, but it looks like you're gonna have to wait a month. Disciple 144. All right, so this is from Pasty. Oh, no. This is from Mr. Gentleman. Never announced I got a PS5 LOL, but I would like to share the retro look. Yo, that's a dope skin. Like the decal on that is amazing. Like mine is gray. I changed it from white to gray because it didn't match my desk. So I still have to make a video on it, but my desk is like black and gray now. So because of that, it didn't match. So I had to change the color, but you know, changing it to the old school retro PS5 is still pretty sweet. Yo, that's pretty sweet. Sounds like Sony missed a great opportunity. LOL. I'm not sure why they made them white. I didn't like that. It's just too much. Like for example, going white with the white controllers. Okay, white is a good build. Don't get me wrong. White is a very, very good build to have. It's just that you run into certain situations where you have to. White is one of those things you have to plan for. So like white builds, like going all white builds, you have to plan for that. You don't just jump into it. So for them to go a white PlayStation 5, and makes it that you have to change your whole setup. Like it may not mix with the colors that you currently have. You got to go for a white chassis and a white case to match it, or a white desk to match it, and a white keyboard and mouse if you're gonna put it on your desk. And it gets real nasty. I would rather it be black or some obscure color like gray or something like that. But you know, kudos to him though. It's still pretty sweet. And I like how it has the actual PS5 logo instead of the PS4. That's pretty sweet. So this is from Legitimate River. This is also a repeat. I think I have a virus. So I've never noticed this before. I never noticed this before, but recently when I open an app, for example, Discord, it will open about 20 times at once. It is hard to open anything and was struggling to even be able to make this post. Recently, when I open an app, I'm guessing he's talking about a cell phone? Sure, absolutely. Unplug your keyboard and try to open Discord with the mouse alone. Does this resolve your issue? Also, download the free version of Malwarebytes and run a scan on the system just to be safe. Okay, thanks. I've tried to do this before, but recently when I open an app, for example, Discord, it will open about 20 times at once. Oh, yeah. This is clean. That was a good catch. Yeah, that was a good catch. Okay. Apparently half sleep me would never have caught that, but awoke me figured that out immediately. Okay, fair enough. So okay, cool, bro, keep us posted. We troubleshoot issues like this all the time on my YouTube channel in my bio, and we need closure. LOL. Yo, we chasing after them W's, yo. I need to know if we fixed your issue. Alrighty, and I think that is it. Okay, cool. So we finished everything up here. So group 1 and group 2 and most of group 3 we kind of did when we were actually trying to figure this out on vMix. But in the time that it took me to try to get everything back to normal, I switched it back to OBS, and now OBS looks amazing. There are some little things that I see here that are kind of annoying, but I'll fix that up a little bit later. So don't worry about it. It'll be fixed on the next time here. Now that we have a backup that is stable, I can play with vMix whenever I want it, and so I can switch to it eventually. But it's not as necessary now. So I like the new look. I think the look is really good. So we'll run with this and see how it goes. And that's gonna do it for today's episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. And if you I can switch now. Like this video, go to like button if you really like it. Go to subscribe. I love you either way. Take care. All the best and bye. I will see you tomorrow.